In today's edition of Just Reviews, I'll be taking a look at a PC game by the name of Majesty 2. When this game released, it actually slipped underneath my radar because of all the negative press it received. In this review, I'll be giving my opinion of the game and sharing it with you. Now, Majesty 2 is in no way a perfect game, but it tries to blend humor, RPG elements, base building, resource, and troop management, and for the most part, pulls everything off. There are a few bugs here and there, and some missions really are overly difficult because of all the things thrown at you, but in general, the game is very, very enjoyable. It has a lengthy single-player campaign that took me about 30 hours to beat, and somewhat subpar multiplayer features. The most unique feature of the game is the way you ask your heroes to do your bidding. And when I say ask, that's exactly what I mean. See, in Majesty 2, you don't just click on an enemy and expect your entire army to run over there and proceed to murder it in the face. You have to place a flag and give this flag a reward in gold to interest heroes to do your bidding. There are attack, explore, defend, and stay away flags, each requiring you to spend your hard-earned gold to set and keep up. Before we get too much into this, let's start off with what I think is the weakest point of the game, which is sadly its multiplayer. The whole thing is done through GameSpy, and matches are a pain in the butt to find, and even more painful to join. To have this still be an issue so long after release is a bit strange. When you do get in game, you'll find your standard deathmatch and co-op game types, each capping out in any combination of 4 players like 2v2, 1v3, or just a free-for-all. Now sadly, you can't play the campaign co-op, which would have been really fun and add a lot to the game. But that's neither here or there. After you get the lackluster multiplayer out of the way, I have to comment a bit about the game's AI. When so much depends on your heroes, the AI is a bit underwhelming. I found it beyond frustrating to set an explore flag right next to 6 or so treasure chests, only to have my heroes pick up 1 or 2 of them. Yeah, you can pick your chests individually and set a flag on them that way, forcing your heroes to go and retrieve them, but it costs you a lot more money and it's a lot more micromanagement. If the AI was just a bit better, this entire ordeal could have been avoided. Now that all of that is out of the way, let's move on to the fun part, or pretty much everything else about the game. The game's humor is injected into every mission in at least some way, shape, or form. In fact, most mission intros had me smiling once or twice. This is actually quite enjoyable after playing the more serious strategy games as of late. Now the game thrusts you into the role of a king set to reclaim your throne from an evil monster who is set out to burninate everything in his path. You do this by building your base, setting up trade routes through caravans, taxing your population, and selling items to your hired heroes, which you have to hire through the buildings that your peasants build. So when you build a blacksmith and research that cool piece of armor or new weapon, you're going to get a nice profit after your entire hero army is outfitted in said gear. You can research and sell everything from healing potions all the way to armor, gear, and jewelry. Your heroes will buy these items with the gold that you give them through your flags, chests they find laying around, or monsters they kill. This circular economy is actually pretty neat and refreshing after some of the more recent games I've been playing. Speaking of new armor and weapons, your heroes will use all this stuff to kill big bad dragons, tiny rats, stupid ogres, and a lot of other varied floozles. Yeah, most of them are your generic mix of fantasy creatures, but I was willing to overlook these things after the combat sucked me in. You can even have your heroes form parties at the local tavern, which you also have to build, and they'll adventure together, cutting down your costs for reviving them and making them level up together. Each level bringing an increase in statistics that makes them even harder to kill. Think of it like playing an RPG with a party of dozens. On some levels, even more than dozens. All in all, this is a very, very enjoyable game, and I would definitely give it an 8 out of 10. If you like strategy games, you pretty much owe it to yourself to play this game. It's no StarCraft 2 by any means, but it doesn't need to, or even try to be. Slapstick humor and a mix of a lot of other genres make this a gem you just shouldn't miss. You can pick this up on Steam for fairly cheap. I think it cost me $15, and they even threw in the Kingmaker expansion pack, which I'll be reviewing shortly after. Hopefully you enjoyed my review. Now go and enjoy Majesty 2. I know I will.